welcome back to episode 13, season 2 of the Full Range Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Johnson. It's good to be back. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy end of January already. We got a great show for you today. It's just me this week. I know, haven't had some guests in a while. I get it. We're going to be having some guests. Don't worry about it. We'll get there, everybody. We are presented by the Old Walls House Podcast with Jordan Wahlberg. Please check out him on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Give him a like, subscribe. He helps us out tremendously over on his pod. He's a guest of our show here in the Full Range Podcast as well. We have a merchandise shop together, old-walls-shop.fourthwall.com. Check us out. Support the pods any way you can. If you're looking for more of me, oh my God, I just want more of MJ or Matt or whatever you want to call me. Instagram, great place to be at the Full Range Pod. mjohnson7633 on TikTok. Check out our Remember When Wednesdays. We drop a new episode every Thursday, year on, year out, forever and beyond. Hopefully, as long as the ticker's still ticking. We will be here on Spotify and YouTube as well. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, all those great things. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I hope the end of your January is going well. I am super excited, folks. I talked about it last week, a big music episode last week here on the pod. My favorite artist, Noah Kahan, is releasing new music tomorrow. January, what is that? 30th? Yeah. Is that it's tomorrow the 30th? Tomorrow's the 30th. Today's the 29th. Dropping new music tomorrow. It's one single off of his album, his upcoming album, which is not released. And there's no date of release yet. Super excited for that as well. If you have not checked out Noah Kahan's music, do so. I love it. He's a great singer-songwriter, does a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm very happy that more of the public has learned to love him as much as I had. Shout out Noah Kahan. So, very, very excited for that. And not only do we have Noah Kahan music dropping tomorrow, we got 2 teams left in the NFL season, folks. Just like the NFL script writers drew it up, we got the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. It's like, 2014 or whatever, all over again. It's crazy. I guess my initial reaction is, do I think the Seahawks were the best team in the NFC for most of the season this year, consistently? Yes. Do I think the Patriots, for a lot of the seasons, were the most consistently good AFC team? Yes. But I just didn't think they would. I just didn't think this was going to be the year. But it was kind of right there in front of us all. If you really, really think about the NFL season, the Bengals getting banged up in the AFC, the Ravens getting an awful, awful start to begin the year, the Steelers playing better than I think most people expected them to. The Bills just kind of being inconsistent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Josh Allen, some turnover issues during the season and, especially in the playoffs. The Chiefs with a down year. The Broncos looked like possibly the second best team in the AFC consistently, winning a lot of close games. Bo Nix making plays in the fourth quarter, a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. All these teams, the Texans making a late run after kind of an awful start to the year, some injuries throughout. It just felt, especially on the AFC side, it was just going to be somebody who's healthy, has a good defense, takes care of it offensively most of the time, and just has some consistency. So it was right there for the Patriots. They were one of the best defenses in the AFC. Drake May was an MVP candidate, possibly is the MVP of the league. I don't know if they've announced that. Have they announced that? I don't know. This is such a weird time of year for me. I just get snippets of things sometimes. And then in the AFC with the Seahawks, same thing. The Eagles didn't look right. People wanted to believe in the Cowboys for a little while, the Packers for a little while. We talked like the Eagles thing. I'm trying to think who else. The Bears. Like the Bears were a possible Super Bowl contender this year. It was just such a weird year in the NFL. Of course we're going to have a weird Super Bowl. Of course we are. So we're traveling to San Francisco. I mean, I wish I was, but as a society, we're going to be tuning into a Super Bowl in San Francisco, California versus the Seahawks and the Patriots. I see the lines are already up for betting, but we're going to leave that for next week, our little Super Bowl preview next week. But it's really wild to think about Sam Darnold and Drake May. And I guess my point in all of this is we've been pretty spoiled as NFL fans for really the last 20, 25 years of just every year, almost every year, really having great, kind of all-time quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. You think about Matthew Stafford a couple years ago, your Tom Brady's, your Patrick Mahomes, your Ben Roethlisberger's, your Eli Manning's, your Peyton Manning's, your Drew Brees. I mean, it was kind of year after year after year of really consistently great quarterbacked teams making it to the NFL. And I'm not taking away anything from Drake May of what he's done this year and Sam Darnold. I think Drake May's played better throughout the year. I don't think there's really any fight for that, but it's those two names are not in that category of the Drew Breeses, the Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes. At least not yet. And maybe they are. And you got to be thinking, if you are a Minnesota Vikings, New York Jet, Carolina Panthers fan, you got to be sick to your stomach watching Sam Darnold for basically 2 years in a row carry these teams deep into the playoffs and now in a Super Bowl. You got to be sick to your stomach a little bit. I'm cheering for the Patriots. I'm going to put that out there already. I know the Tom Brady thing affects a lot of people. A lot of people didn't like Tom Brady. The Patriots won all the time, but I don't like Seattle. Seattle's one of those teams in the NFC that I don't really care for. And the Patriots, not that I really care for them either, but they're least hated in my heart of hearts. So I'll be pulling for another AFC team in the Super Bowl, just like I had to. Every year the Eagles are there and all this nonsense. So insane. There's also been some big moves from the Dallas Cowboys, speaking of the NFL. Not going to spend a lot of time talking about them, but they fired Matt Eberflus. They bring in Christian Parker, the new defensive coordinator in Dallas. Young, I think he's 36 years old or something. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling very good. I'm optimistic with low expectations. That's kind of my Dallas Cowboys fandom the last few years. Optimistic, but I don't get too high. I keep it at a low level, but I'm excited. And the reason why I think I'm mostly excited, not that I know a lot about Parker and the scheme that he plans on running, but he was with the Philadelphia Eagles under Vic Fangio. He was also with Fangio in Denver, learning under him, who always, consistently has pretty good defenses. And a lot of the league's reaction was Dallas got a really, really, high character, smart coach. Teacher was another word that I saw. Discipline, knowing where everybody's supposed to be, on the same page type things. And that was such a big piece of what Dallas was missing last year under Matt Eberflus. It has to be a point of emphasis moving forward. And they have a lot of holes to fill. This has no impact with the skill level as of January 29th, 2026. None. The Cowboys have not made offseason moves yet, nor can they. And I think they will. I'm going to be a little optimistic here. I think they're going to be movers in free agency. I think they're going to bring in some guys. I look out for a name, Nakobe Dean, linebacker, former Eagle. Look out for Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle in Dallas. Look for his brother, linebacker. Those are some of the names. And I could see, maybe a safety coming in. And then it's draft time, which is a beautiful time of year. Everybody's, 0-0. You get to rebuild. You can turn around your franchise very, very quickly. But they have a lot of decisions to make on both sides of the ball. Lots of moves that they can, and I hope that they make if they're serious about winning. And I think Jerry Jones, the last 2 years, kind of having losing seasons and not being a big mover in free agency, I think this is a year where you'll see Dallas go after some guys. And I really like what Schottenheimer and Parker have talked about and are preaching for the franchise. And it seems like the Joneses are listening. So I'm very excited. We've also had a bunch of other moves. Mike McCarthy, former Packer and Cowboys coach, is now the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got the former head coach in Arizona being the defensive coordinator at Green Bay. What were some other big ones? I'm trying to think. Let me pull those up quick. NFL coaching. Let's see here. Oh, another big one. John Harbaugh, new football coach of the New York Giants. Really big. Kevin Stefanski leaves the Cleveland Browns. Now he's he's joining the Falcons. Joe Brady, new head coach of the Buffalo Bills. The Dolphins, this is news to me. Jeff Hafley, the former Packers defensive coordinator, now head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Jesse Minter, the Chargers defense coordinator, now the head coach in Baltimore after the Harbaugh leave. The Tennessee Titans hired Robert Saleh. And there's still positions to be filled. I mean, there's still the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Browns still have openings. So a lot of changes in the NFL, which is not a normal thing. So there's a lot of moving pieces every single year in the NFL with coaches, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. I'm excited for Mike McDaniel, the former Dolphins head coach, getting an opportunity to be the offense coordinator for the Chargers. I think he's a really smart young coach, and I think more time under some leadership of like a Harbaugh out there in Los Angeles, I think McDaniel does end up getting another opportunity down the road to be a head coach again. To me, never had a quarterback. Sorry, Tua, or Dolphins fans, if you're out there. So lots of happenings in the NFL. Lots and lots of them. Let's see. Oh, a little life thing for me, personal thing for me. Last week, I think I mentioned it on the pod. I was taking the daughter out, the youngest daughter, Emily, to a little daddy-daughter dance last Friday night. Phenomenal time. Phenomenal. Went out to dinner, had a nice dinner, got to the dance, got to boogie it a little bit with her and, her friends. Most of the time, it was with her friends. I did get the, Emily, can I dance with you right now? And she went, I just want to hang out with my friends. So I was shot down a little bit. But we got out there, we danced, we had a great time. Her feet hurt. It was the first time she's ever wore heels. It was awesome. We had a really, really good time. What a cool fundraiser that our local school here does. It's awesome. It's so good. Then we all had, I can literally be talking to just about anyone that lives in the United States. We had a very, very large storm rip through from basically New Mexico, Texas, all the way through the south. Basically, if you were north of Georgia, you got something. Just ripped through the Ohio Valley into Pennsylvania and New England. We got over a foot of snow this weekend, and it was on Sunday, of course. So as a teacher, I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, we're going to have a snow day. Our snow day is just the best, everybody. Like, even if you're not a teacher or a student, they're the best. Like a true snow day. And what I'm talking about right now is like what we just kind of went through, most of the country went through this past weekend. Like 8, 10, 12-inch plus type storms where it's going to shut things down for at least a day or two. And it got me thinking. And I sat there and, the kids were, just inside most of the day. But the snow day, it's not snowing anymore. Everybody's out there shoveling, plowing, trying to clear things up so life can kind of get back to normal a little bit. And no school. And I was thinking, man, like, what a time to be alive. Like when you were a kid and you were sitting there and you're like, you woke up at 6 a.m., checking the local news channel, scrolling down at the bottom, waiting for your letter, alphabetical order. Just there it goes. Okay. All right. Our letter's coming up. And then you could see like a school that's like kind of nearby and you're like, there it is. And then you had the whole day going outside, building a snowman, watching a movie with the family or curled up under a blanket, going with your boys, going to play some football, go sled riding. And I was thinking, man, what a time like snow days were as a kid. And now I love them for so many other reasons. And it has nothing to do with sled riding and nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to share on the pod this week my top 5 favorite things about a snow day. So I'm going to rank them here. At number 5, we're going to start at 5 and work our way up to the best one. For number 5, and I thought about this for a little while, and maybe this is more of like my personal like mental health and just overthinking, just madness of basketball season, coaching, teaching, all this stuff. But at number 5, I have it's really like a forced pause in the have-tos. Like, I have to do this, or like the routine. And sometimes those like forced pauses are just like a beautiful blessing, especially when it's something like positive, where it's like, hey, you can't go anywhere. You can't really do anything. You just got to be home. Sorry. You can't do anything else. You can't get to the gym. You can't go to work. You can't go out and have fun and be social or whatever you might want to do. You have to plop your butt down. You can't go anywhere. And it's kind of like, you know what? Maybe this was a sign that this was exactly what I needed. So that's number 5, kind of that forced pause in the action of day-to-day life. And number 4, is it just me, or do the meals on a snow day just hit a little bit different? You know, you got something like crock pot meal, just roasting all day, warming up the house a little bit, the smells, all that stuff. Maybe you cook some like steak, or you make like a real like nice casserole. It's just warm. It's like there's just something about being stuck in all day. You're cold in that warm house, and you just get that nice warm meal. You can take your time, pick the time you want to eat. The meals on a snow day, just they hit a little bit different. Number 3, And this is how much things have changed since being a kid on a snow day. I like to have a beer every time I go outside and shovel to stay ahead of the storm. Now, when you get these big ones, right, I like to stay ahead of it. Stay ahead of it, boys. So that means basically like I'll go out every 2 or 3 hours and there's another fresh 2, 3, 4 inches on the ground. So you go out there, shovel, crack open a beer when you get inside, sit by the fire, get some blankets on you, warm up, and just chill out with a nice cold beer. I had like 6 Busch Lights on our snow day. Beautiful. Every single one just got better and better. God, they're so good. And I'll even once in a while, if it's not too cold outside, and it was too cold for this storm, throw a beer in the snowbank, keep it nice and chilled, get a little crystallization on the top little parts as you crack it open. You get those little crystals hitting your tongue. Man, those beers on a snow day. Number 2, I love just hanging out on a snow day and watching a movie or show. Maybe there's something that you want to watch. Maybe a friend told you about a show. Maybe you thought about a movie and you were like, you know what, I'm going to watch that today. Well, you got 12 hours. Let's fill a couple of them with a great movie. That's number 2 for me. It might be a little high for some, but it really hits a sweet spot. At the end of a day, going out there shoveling nonstop or moving snow, whatever you're doing, and then just popping in a great movie or watching a brand new TV show. That's number 2. And number 1, easy. Just sleeping in. That's the number 1 best part of a snow day. Being able to sleep in until 7:30, 8, 8:30 on a work day, a typical work day. Sign me up. Sign me up. Man, oh man, I love a good sleep in. So sleeping in, movie, new TV show, the beer after shoveling or during shoveling, the meals on a snow day, and then that forced pause are my top 5 things. And, you asked me 25 years ago, I probably would have said sled riding, playing football, no school, all those types, staying up late, all those types of things. But speaking of new shows, a good friend of mine was talking about this a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I gotta watch this. The new Game of Thrones prequel. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Started watching it. It was really good. So there's been 2 episodes so far. This is actually in between House of the Dragon, which was a prequel to Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, so it's in between. So I think, if I remember right, it was House of the Dragon was like 150 or 200 years, maybe, before Game of Thrones. This one, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is about, I think it was like 90 or so years before Game of Thrones. So I'll be very honest. The first 2 episodes were great. The one thing I'll say about it was I didn't feel like, or maybe I just wasn't getting the right amount of like coverage that this was coming out, I guess, is the point I want to make. Like, I don't know if it just wasn't getting a lot of push or love or anything, but the first 2 episodes were really solid. The first thing I noticed, and maybe it's the new TV, but the picture and just the scene, like the scenes of the show are breathtaking. Like, the cinematography is really, really great. So it basically follows Sir Duncan the Tall and his squire Egg. And at first I was like, is this guy? So you meet Sir Duncan the Tall right away. First episode, first scene, you meet this guy. And typically I always feel like in these shows, like they show kind of just a dude or a gal and something bad happens to that person. And then it kind of flips to, all right, these are going to be the main characters. So my assumption when I first started watching it was like, all right, well, this guy's dead. Like, well, we're supposed to like this guy and he's not going to make it. And maybe I'm still going to be right, but both episodes focus all around Sir Duncan the Tall. And, you know, he gets his name from being basically a probably 6'8" man who wants to be a knight. I think there's more to that too. A little spoiler there. He didn't know his real father, was brought in by another guy. I can't remember his name. And, you know, he's claiming that he knighted him and all this stuff. And now he's going to trials to be a knight. So he's, you know, getting on the horseback and he's going to do some jousting, all that good stuff. So it's been really good. There's some love interest already. I'll tell you what. There's a scene, I think in episode 2, where you see Sir Duncan the Tall's father, quotations father, and that guy's taking a pee. And if you know anything about Game of Thrones, they're not afraid to show little front, back, sideways, some nudity. And man, oh man, the wrench. Obviously, you know, prosthetic or probably something. But Jesus, damn. Thing is, yeah. All right. Great show so far. I mean, I don't think I'd put it above House of the Dragon. I thought House of the Dragon was so good. Looking forward to more of that. With the 3rd season in the works. In Game of Thrones, like peak Game of Thrones, some of the best television. So I don't know if I'd put it in that atmosphere yet. I don't think it's going to get that much love, but I think it has potential to be a really, really solid show. So if you haven't checked that out, HBO Max, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's been really, really good. All right. Let's do an ad. We got a new ad sponsor this week. Season 2, episode 13 is brought to you by Middle School Homework. You ever feel like you want to rip your hair out? Ever get the rage inside of you to hit something really hard? Do you want to be frustrated, angry, sad, all at the same time? Bring it home. Introducing Middle School Homework. Bring it home. Argue with your kids. And just want to die right there on the spot. If that's not enough, wait to do middle school homework the night before it's due. Middle school homework, do you understand it? Probably better than your kids. Yeah. Do they trust your way of doing it? Absolutely not. Middle school homework. Not a real ad. All right, folks. Let's end the show with a mental health minute. Very, very easy. Life is really hard, everybody. And I think one of the keys to getting older and realizing how to just be plain happier in your life is learning how to be comfortable when it's uncomfortable. And if I'm being honest with you and upfront, I think 90% of adult lives, especially after you start your careers, start families, your kids start to get in things, whatever it might be. It's uncomfortable all the time. Whether that's with your own self, your mental, physical, emotional health, whether that's because of kids stuff, your kids stuff, your friends things, your family's things that pop up. There could be deaths in the families. There could be, all of it is uncomfortable. And one of the keys in life, in everybody's life, is finding ways to be comfortable in that uncomfortable. And you can break this down in so many different ways. But learning that everything's just it's going to be okay, even when it's not. And understanding, like, it might feel like you get hit by 4 tractor trailers in a row, and one thing after another is going wrong in your life. And it's brutal. There's beauty in understanding that that's just life. And I don't want that to sound like a cop-out. I don't want that to sound like it's an excuse that things can't get better or things are always going to be bad, because they're not. But that's what life is. Life is pain. Life is suffering. So finding ways to be comfortable in that suffering is the only way we're going to get through any of this stuff together or for yourself. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of mental clarity and focus from yourself. Learning how to control the controllable things in your life. Learning to surround yourself with good people. Learning to adapt, overcome, persevere. All are helpful in finding comfort in being uncomfortable. Because I think people who believe that life is supposed to be easy, or when bad things happen, they want to quit or give up, it just means that they haven't had enough hard things in their life yet. And for those people, it's just going to get harder. For the people who try to find some comfort in some of these hard things, life turns out pretty good. So understand being comfortable in the uncomfortable in all aspects of your life. All right, everybody. Season 2, episode 13. Lucky 13, everybody. Got the Instagram posts working again. NFL, we got new Noah Khan tomorrow. I know I'm just so damn excited, everybody. I'm really sorry. Game of Thrones, the prequel, go check that out. A Night at the Seven Kingdoms. Snow days are wonderful. There could be more snow coming this weekend. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another one, everybody. And if you're somewhere else listening to the country, you probably get some too, sooner or later, even if you're in the south parts of the United States. And when those things hit, be comfortable. All right, folks. This has been episode 13 of season 2 of the FullRange Podcast. Thank you so much for listening this week. I want everybody to have a great week. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Show some empathy. Keep working hard on whatever your goals are. And we'll see you next time.